Phones on silent, people.
Way ahead of you.
Good. I just remembered.
All right. So we need to plug something called the Fund Drive.
Fun Drive.
Yeah, Fund Drive.
Fun Drive.
Fund, that's what I'm saying. Fund Drive.
No, Fun Drive.
Fund. Why do you keep repeating that? Fund Drive.
No, Fun Drive. Fun Drive. But all one word.
I thought it was for raising money.
I thought it
It
was a
is,
race.
but we have
thought it was
fun
a
while
car
we
thing.
do it.
It's not a race?
It's not a car thing?
No, it's
I
not
thought it was
carving.
Like a fun drive?
Yes,
fun drive.
it's to raise funds, but we have fun while we do it, and we put on special programming.
So we're racing to gather money?
Oh, charity race. I can do that. I can do a car.
Yeah, I can
Is
get
it for
behind
pink
that.
slips?
That's pretty cool.
If you guys want to race, that's awesome. But yeah, just go to chsrfm.ca and click on the donate button. You can use your credit card, you can use a PayPal account, or you can come to UNB and hit up the sub and say, hey, I've got money. Take my money.
Okay, so when's this happening?
March 18th to the 30th.
So it's a week-long race.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of Epic. Today we are talking about mind-blowing facts, and with me here to talk about mind-blowing facts is Nutty,
Hello.
Fred,
Hello.
Andy,
How's it going?
and the other guy, Richard.
Hey. The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Thanks.
That's
want-
That's your new radio nickname, the other guy.
The other guy.
It could be worse.
Could be
I have,
Radio Chocolate.
I have
No, audio chocolate.
Audio chocolate.
Audio chocolate.
Yes.
Okay, get it right.
Audio chocolate. Hey, Mark.
We need to have audio chocolate on here at some point.
I was thinking about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Sweeten up our radio show.
Yeah, and then put us all to shame.
So that way our listeners can actually hear what someone who's on the radio professionally actually sounds like.
Yeah, instead of
Yeah.
listening to us.
Us.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Andy. All right. So we all have some mind-blowing facts. I've already kind of given mine away because I passed it around in the email, so you know what mine is. But I'm going to mention them anyway. My first one was, and this is kind of just, they're facts, but they're kind of like one of those, whoa, mind-blowing things. The human brain is the only organ in existence to have ever named itself.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the other one that I had was when you see a physicist or somebody trying to figure out how an atom works, you're essentially looking at a collection of atoms trying to figure out how atoms work.
You'd think you'd know that then.
This is why a lot of physicists say, when asked what's the point of life, well, it's the universe trying to figure itself out. Because we're just
What
part
were
of
you
the universe.
smoking when you made this list?
I was not smoking anything.
He was
I'll have
afterwards.
you know.
So is a sniffing.
Actually, these facts came to me. Well, where did I see them? I think I saw them on some YouTube clip or something like that. I was just kind of going through some stuff. I think it might have been a Vsauce clip, actually.
yeah, they've got a
They got a lot of good stuff, and those two facts gave me the idea for this episode.
Excellent. Excellent.
The tradition of getting ideas from other people.
So
Pretty
I'm
much
gonna-
every episode so far.
So we're like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to bring a very nerdy fact.
All right.
The built world of Minecraft is bigger than Uranus at 64,000 kilometers.
Bigger than what?
Uranus. Uranus
Nice
is
try.
51,000 kilometers, and Neptune is 48,000 kilometers. So Minecraft is bigger than both of those planets.
When you say 48,000, do you mean square kilometers? Because it is an area.
Yeah, it must be.
Sure, probably.
Now,
I got this information, by the
cute-
way, from NASA.
cubic kilometers would be a little bit larger.
They didn't
than square
specify.
kilometers.
Well, there's
It
no
was an
upper limit
infographic.
technically to Minecraft. It's just
Yeah, I think
Well,
it's
that's
more
how much has been built
land
so far.
surface.
This is what people have actually built already.
Speaking
Yes.
of that,
So it's kinda
this would probably be interesting to you, Nutty. They've actually, they're in the process of building the world of Game of Thrones in Minecraft.
Yes, I have heard about that. It's pretty.
this is interesting.
And
Like,
Enterprise as well,
to the
too.
point,
Yes.
like all the cities, homes. There's stuff in the homes. There's furniture. There's like belongings. It's
As in there are blocks. That looked
Yeah.
like furniture.
As
Yeah.
people have no lives.
Yeah.
Well, you know
wow.
what? I've played Minecraft. That game is incredibly. If you played Lego at all as a kid,
Yeah.
And sucked at it?
no, I was awesome at it.
No, I'm talking with me.
Oh.
So, next mind-blowing fact.
I've got one, and it kind of ties in with the whole, blow your mind and sciencey bit. Now, if you stretch your arms out as far as you can go, and imagine the distance between one fingertip all the way across the other fingertip is about 4.5 billion years.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's
So
a
it's
span
a
of time,
timeline.
essentially.
Span of time,
Yeah.
yes. It's
Span of
a
time.
virtual span of time. And that's about how old most meteorites are. Now, if you take a nail file and you pass it along the end of one of your fingernails, you've just erased all of human history. I came across that because that meteorite event in Russia with the one that exploded in the atmosphere there. And this was just, I think it was on phys.org that I saw it. And yeah, it just kind of blew my mind when I saw that. And it's like, just the scraping of one fingernail from a nail file is all of human history compared to
This planet has been around for a very, very, very long time. We're just a recent infection.
Yeah.
That's all we are.
We really are an infection.
Have you seen the videos on that?
I've
that-
seen more
was it?
than I should have.
A comet or an asteroid?
It was there's specific terms, and we're probably going to get corrected.
Are we
but
talking about the event in
essentially
Russia?
The
Yeah.
meteorite.
it's a
It was a meteor.
It was a meteorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was as minerals. It wasn't an ice ball.
It was something like what was it, 55 feet in diameter,
Which is pretty big.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't only
Yeah.
one, because there was the main one that fell, but it had fragmented, and there was separate chunks that came down as well.
Yeah.
There's a
But
beautiful dash cam.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one I saw.
Yeah.
That's all I went
the
to,
one
yeah.
burning up.
I found a compilation of it, a whole bunch of different angles, and then I found some guy who was videotaping afterwards, looking at the cloud and all that, and then right then the sonic boom hit,
No,
and it blew his windows out right in front of him.
So Guile showed up?
really.
That's where, it was insane how loud that sonic boom was.
Yeah.
There's another one where there was a bunch of office people outside their building, big glass front office building, and they were filming it, and it went off, and then half the glass on the side of the building fell down. around
That
them.
must have been where all the injuries were reported.
Yeah, because it was
Okay.
like it was a good, probably 30, 40 seconds, probably maybe even a bit more than that before the sonic boom hit. So this thing was really high up before it exploded.
Well, those things are hitting the atmosphere at multiple kilometers per second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I read too, the explosion when it hit the atmosphere was approximately 30 times greater than the atomic bomb dropped in Hiroshima.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was a energetic explosion.
Well, look back at, was it 1907, the Tunguska event, which is the largest explosion ever to occur on Earth.
1907.
Yeah, was this
well,
asteroid that blew
on
up?
record.
Yeah.
On human record.
I'm pretty sure there was a really big one, back during the dinosaurs.
Yeah, they would have an
getting there.
argument.
Yes. But since we're on this topic, hey,
Never
Fred,
look it up. What?
can you tell us about the dash cams? Because I've been seeing a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't understand. Why is there so much video in Russia of the meteorite?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Russia has had a massive problem with insurance fraud for many, many years. So there's now this over proliferation of dash cams on everybody's car.
And you know what? Those things are becoming very, very affordable.
Yeah.
Even
Oh, yeah.
I recommend. I'm thinking of getting one put into my car. I think all it does is sits in your dash, it plugs into your car, you start up your car, it video buffers the last so many hours or whatever.
Yeah, and there was one I saw where it was a dual camera, where it was doing in front of the car and
behind
was
it.
pointing at the driver.
Oh, and the driver.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he was recording himself and out the front window.
I've seen that
That's
done in
kinda
buses.
Yeah, but I mean, lately there's just been a
Plethora?
a whole bunch,
Proliferation.
a proliferation of videos from Russia, from those dash cam videos, and it's insane. Like they're crash cams, crash clips that you usually see.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like the one where some guy veered in oncoming traffic and was hit by a truck and spun around and it hit the car in front of him that had the camera in it, and this guy climbs out the window.
Yeah,
Like-
I've seen that.
He just pops out.
Yeah.
I've seen that. There was one I saw recently of somebody was driving, and there was a median between them, between the oncoming traffic, but it was quite high. And she's just driving along, and a car just flies over the median, which is about twice the height of her car, and lands upside down on her car.
Wow.
Just like in a span of like a second. So that would wake you up in the morning, that's for sure.
Or put you
Oh,
to
yeah.
sleep.
Yeah, sure.
Forever.
And permanently.
Well, she was. You could hear her crying on the on the.
Oh, it
on
was
the footage.
like it's her camera that captured that.
Yeah, it was her camera that captured. Like she just is just driving along, and then all of a sudden, whoop! This car comes just careening just out of nowhere and lands on her car, and she's crying. And of course, the YouTube comments is, "Oh, she's a crybaby. She's a crybaby." And then other people are commenting back, like, "Seriously, what would you do if a vehicle suddenly burst out of nowhere and landed on you?"
I really hope her insurance claim went through.
Yeah. I think number one, I'd probably shot myself.
Oh yeah,
Just saying. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
After that, then, probably cry for mama.
Or,
It's-
thank the Lord that you've got a good, solid roof on your car.
it landed more. I think she was lucky. It landed more
physics.
on the
Hood.
hood of her car.
Yeah.
So I think the windshield of the opposite car was almost lined up with hers and was upside down.
Could you see the other guy?
No, because the dashboard camera got damaged
okay.
or jostled out of place or something. All right. Anyway, moving on.
Because off topic.
We always do that.
No.
What else do we got? Where were we anyway?
I think we're up to a fact from Richard.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually, so basically Andy's last one there about basically their span of time. Mine is more or less about the span of existence of their speciation, essentially. Approximately 99.9% of all species that ever lived are now extinct. Part of that is usually because of the global, destructions, the mass extinctions, like we mentioned a while ago with the meteorite that may have taken out all the dinosaurs, that kind of stuff.
Does that take into account evolutionary fading too?
Yes, it's just basically in general itself, because it's not just us that are destroying everything else. It's everything destroying everything.
Yes. This is
like
survival of the fittest. It's basically the way it goes.
Well, that's also we are contributing with global warming. I'll take heat for this, but I don't really care. Some of the largest contributors for basically gases in the atmosphere is nature. Like if
Cows.
let's say a volcano erupts,
That's
ridiculous amounts of toxins in the one sky. Also cows, basically, mind you, that is partially us too, though, because of actually
We're breeding a large amount of cows.
of actually large scale, breeding and whatnot.
And there's supposed to be a whole ton of methane trapped in the Arctic tundra that they're worried is going to be released.
They should
because of
mine
global
that
warming.
before it gets released.
Yeah.
I remember reading, and I don't know the actual statistic, but it was something about how when Mount St. Helens went, it caused more damage to the ozone than all of human history.
Yes. So, granted, we are adding some, but it's not to the extent of what some might want you to believe.
We just shouldn't be adding to what
No,
nature's already doing.
No, I'm not saying, hey, guys, go fill up, basically SUV and just go drive nonstop, basically burn whatever else.
I don't know. That's what Tech was talking about earlier with this whole race.
We could do it on the
idea.
race. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's for fun, though.
Oh, okay.
Right? Tech,
it
did
is
you
right.
have one?
For the fun drive.
Yeah, it's not a little fact. It's just something cool that you guys can look up. An interesting piece of technology that was recently declassified by the U.S. government, something called Project Hexagon, the KH-9 Hexagon. So I want you guys to imagine the Hubble Space Telescope, the fantastic photos that thing could take. Now turn it around the other way and aim it at the Earth. And it was a spy satellite in the 1970s that could photograph the surface of the Earth at 0.6 meters of resolution.
So each pixel was about
60 centimeters across. You can identify individual people.
Yes, that's getting pretty.
And how
scary.
many of them were pointed down?
At least 18 of them.
Wow.
These
And,
satellites were so large that they were film cameras that would take stereoscopic photos of the Earth, load them into a little re-entry capsule, and then kick the capsule down to the Earth. And each satellite had 4 re-entry capsules. The satellites were so large they would carry other satellites with them and then launch them into orbit.
And these have been around since the 70s.
70s. There's 18. Well, they've all accomplished their missions and then burnt up.
Yeah.
But yeah, 18 Hubble Space Telescopes turned the other way looking at us.
We never even knew about.
They mapped the entire surface of the Earth, and it was only declassified in 2011.
My favorite
are the
part of
images
this?
available? Because that'd be awesome.
I wonder if Google's using them.
They probably are.
Well, that's what I
Actually,
was going to say. My favorite part is people are so paranoid about, Google Earth and Google Satellite. Is like, that's compared to this.
The thing about Google Earth, though, is when you zoom past a certain level, it switches from satellite view to orthophotos. It's actually images taken by airplane.
Yeah.
Street view, the other ones, yeah.
And street views taken by
Yeah.
cars. But and actually, oddly enough, Bing Maps has another feature called aerial view, and you can actually rotate around things because they've got like a whole bunch of like on angle shots. So you can go like I went to my work and I actually was able to go around the building, and
Cool.
like it
Wow.
yeah, it was quite cool.
So now, question is though, Fred. Why has CSI never used this instead of doing it's just enhance, like, screw it, go to it's like go to military grade satellites.
I used to hear the
well,
term
they got it.
keyhole imaging all the time in movies and whatever. Task a satellite for keyhole imaging, and you bring a satellite around and you take an image. Although I don't think these could be tasked to go into any particular area. They were just on a preset course, and they would map the surface of the Earth over time.
The question is if they had these ones in the 70s, what's up there now?
Oh, there's probably, yeah. Well, they say that the government, the U.S. Military anyway, is usually 10, 15 years ahead in technology of the rest of the world, of the commercial market. And it's either because they hold it for themselves, the highest technology for themselves, and they controllably release it to the public over time. I don't know. But anyway, we're getting into...
Conspiracy theories.
which is a whole nother show.
So
Yeah.
theories,
we need
theories.
to do one of those.
we should do a conspiracy theory show and just go completely crazy because the fact is...
I'll bring the tinfoil.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, we
We're
should
making hats.
videotape that one, and we all have to wear tinfoil hats.
Yes.
I would do that.
We'll know if we got any of the facts right by the fact that there would be no other show of Epic ever again. And we'd just be gone.
But the question is,
Oh
which,
no, it'd be like that movie
which one was
Conspiracy
right?
Theory.
Yeah.
Exactly. We'd have to figure out
I was
which
like,
one
holy
was-
crap, I was right for once. Which one was it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, does that mean I get to be tortured by Patrick Stewart?
Do you want to be tortured by Patrick Stewart?
Sure. Anything with Patrick Stewart.
Anyway,
make it so.
Awkward.
I have...
Okay, I'm sorry,
my
but now I'm just picturing him actually torturing Bud with a cup of Earl Grey tea.
Hot.
Yes, hot.
Hold on.
Answer the question, or I'm dumping this on your head.
Mark?
He's literally torturing her with a cup of Earl Grey.
I don't know which one I meant.
Yeah, you could do,
like-
if it's really hot, you could do both. Anyway,
Like, what have you got there? It's
Earl
a
Grey.
tea. It's Earl Grey. It's hot.
Yeah.
That is hot. So, moving on to something not so scientific.
Oh.
Gamers love Mountain Dew. Yes?
Oh yes, I know this fact actually.
And
I-
Mountain
I-
Dew was originally designed to be a mix for whiskey and other types.
Oh
of
yes.
Ooh, was
And
it?
Tech, can you tell us how does Mountain Dew and rye taste?
Surprisingly, really, really good.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've never tried Mountain Dew.
I think
mixed
we'll have
with
to do
alcohol.
an experiment.
Yes, we need to confirm this.
Yes.
Yes.
On that same
It's-
note,
We could film that too.
we tried that once in audio. It didn't work
My
out.
drunk studio.
Yeah. And it was also a little fact about Canada Dry ginger ale as well, too. It really sparked into popularity during the Prohibition because people were making bathtub hooch, and it tasted vile. So they were mixing it with Canada Dry. But once Prohibition was abolished, people were like, that tastes really good. So
Yep.
it just kept going.
Interesting.
I also read somewhere once that there were some people that were so obsessed with Prohibition that they even thought carbonated beverages should be outlawed as well because they gave you a happy feeling.
I believe those people are termed
Crazy?
morons.
Also, like
We have them today too.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do.
Also, like the original reason that the graham cracker was originally introduced
Oh yeah, I heard
What
about
is
that.
this?
to suppress sexual urges in children and teenagers.
Because the
I heard
bland
Special
flavor
K was for
supposed
that
to,
reason too. Kellogg's.
No, it's
No, Special K was to
well, weight loss was not originally.
flush everything
Yeah.
out.
It was
But I said, yeah.
a cornflake.
Cornflakes.
Yes, cornflakes,
yes.
that was
So,
it.
like,
Because Mr. Kellogg was a Puritan.
Yes.
there we go.
Yes.
But I said, sadly though, the actual graham cracker itself, look it up. It actually was because he's like, hey, we eat less exciting foods, and your other urges will be diminished as well.
I think it actually
He's never
works.
had a s'more then.
No, no.
I can counter
Defiling the graham cracker.
with the
that ties into rule number 34 of the internet.
Yeah.
Sadly,
The s'more is rule number 34 of the graham cracker.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Rule 34
Actually,
I
could
think
be.
applies to everything. But speaking of food, I have another food fact. And
segue.
yeah, a segue. Here we go.
Silly rabbit segues are for kids.
The egg McMuffin at McDonald's.
Yes.
The reason it's only sold at breakfast is because the grills have to be at a different temperature to cook the meat than to cook the eggs.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's why they don't serve them all day.
Did you
The same goes for many other fast food and family-style restaurants. And that's why people get mad. They say, what do you mean I can't have eggs now? Sorry, the grills are at a different temperature now.
Different salmonella
Probably
versus
higher,
whatever
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Do you
I
remember
believe
pizza?
it's turned
McDonald's
down.
pizza.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Do you remember-
Incredibly hot, scorching pizza.
Salty.
So
Yeah.
back then,
Don't know
it's like back then I remember it being amazing.
It was.
I'm sure if I have it again now, it'd be like, this tastes like tripe.
It tastes like
But
kinda like
fast
At the
food
same
pizza.
time, I want them
Like,
to bring it back.
I do.
Just so I can try it again. I mean, why not? I mean, there's a McRib.
It's a childhood memory that isn't killed yet.
The revolutionary pizza ovens that they had, which supposedly cooked pizza faster, had nothing to do with the ingredients they put in the pizza, apparently.
No. I have a question. Did the McRib come to Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Something-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Did you guys
actually
have
back recently, wasn't it?
mouse meat in your McRib as well?
I'm sorry, what?
Mouse meat?
We're in Canada. That'd be moose meat. You spelled it wrong.
Back in the 80s, there were reports of mouse things being found in McRibs, which is why they never stayed very long.
No, really? I thought there was an allowable.
There is an allowable amount, but I believe one of the stories, and I don't know if it's confirmed, I just remember reading it in the newspaper,
sounds urban
there was a
legendy.
tale.
That sounds urban legendy.
It does, it does.
kinda
But it
there's
was
a
in
lot of fast
Newsday.
food urban legends
Oh,
that
yeah.
are out there.
Kind of like the urban legend that the beef patties at McDonald's have ground mealworm in them instead.
Yeah,
of
I heard about that.
So, no, it's just
which is
pink
false
slime.
because beef is cheaper than mealworm.
Yes.
yes.
Oh, there you go. That's
go.
a great way to disprove it, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look at the financials.
We are coming up with all kinds of great future show ideas.
Yes.
Just us at McDonald's eating.
I got one more food fact, sort of.
Okay.
How many of you like mushrooms?
Awesome.
Yay, fungus.
Woohoo, grow
There
poop.
is and I'm going to mispronounce this because it's Latin, Laetoporus mushrooms.
Oh, the fried chicken one.
Yeah, they taste like chicken.
They taste
And
like fried chicken.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a delicacy in Germany and North America, but they can be found in Japan, Hawaii, South America, Europe, and South Africa. So
I wonder if you
it's
just
a
swap-
delicacy where
Interesting.
the fungus will not grow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
I wanna
usually
try this.
what makes the delicacy
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
the rarity of it. So I wonder if you just bring in like fried chicken and serve it up and say, yeah, it's that mushroom. And it
Something
costs
tells me
a
the
lot.
texture is probably a bit different.
It must be.
Yeah.
But probably, yeah.
Should silence my phone.
For a
Yes.
second there, I
You
thought
guys
someone was in the
silence it.
hall.
I want to have some fried chicken mushrooms.
I want to have some fried chicken and mushrooms.
I'm hungry.
Now I'm hungry.
All right, can we move off to some
yeah,
off
chicken and
food?
waffles.
Yeah. Did you know that the human body can briefly survive in the hard vacuum of space? Unprotected.
Yes,
how
actually,
briefly?
recently I saw something. Vsauce did a very detailed what would happen if a human body was exposed to the vacuum of space. Very, very detailed, and it's not what you see in the movies. That's for sure.
No, your blood doesn't boil. The human skin is a pretty good pressure.
It's a good pressure vessel. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd swell up a bit,
Well, you'd have to exhale all the air out of your lungs first
Yeah.
before you went out.
and you'd only be able to stay conscious for about 15 seconds.
They say that what you would, you always see the cartoon versions of, somebody inflating when they're in a vacuum of inflating like a balloon. But what you would look like is something akin to the shape of a bodybuilder.
Yeah, you'd look buff.
Yeah.
Now I wonder though, if you
Sweet.
had a cut, like a cut in your skin, what would happen?
If it was deep enough to go through all of the layers.
Yeah.
You probably already have a big problem before you even got out there.
That's true.
Well, you
too.
you might have cut yourself on the airlock when it exploded.
So what you guys are saying is that when Ford Prefect and Arthur Dent were in the vacuum of space for
That could have
split
happened.
second, it is entirely probable that they were picked up by the heart of gold.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they were extra protected from the towels.
It's true. Towels.
There was an astronaut who had an accident in a vacuum chamber at NASA, and he was exposed to, well, not hard vacuum, but near hard vacuum for a reasonable amount of time, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. And he went over in detail what happened, and the saliva on your tongue sizzles. So it was one of the things because basically all the gases are starting to expand.
Yeah.
And what else did he say?
That's got to be like Pop Rocks.
You do freeze Two interesting things. You freeze, but not because of the reason you think you'd freeze. You don't freeze because space is cold. Matter of fact, the internal temperature of your body would stay warm for a very, very, very long time because there is no air. There's no thermal mass to pull heat away.
The heat doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. It would actually escape your body through radiation. It would radiate out,
which is the slowest and least efficient method
exactly
of transferring heat.
Exactly. So
I have a chapter on this in my
light,
book.
essentially. And the other thing was the reason why it would freeze is because of the pressure differential. You've ever heard the old formula: pressure times volume equals N times R times T or whatever.
That old formula.
Yeah, PV equals nRT. You don't remember that from high school? That one's burned into my brain. But basically, it states that pressure is proportional to or inversely proportional to temperature. So as you lower, or proportional to temperature. So as you lower pressure, the temperature lowers with it.
Okay.
And you'll know this if you've ever taken an air can and sprayed your computer and you feel the air can get really cold because the pressure inside is dropping.
Yeah.
So the temperature drops as well. So all the gases and everything and the liquid on your skin would freeze because of expansion.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
So your eyes would freeze, I think, and your mouth, and it would not be a pleasant.
No, for
No,
the
I don't
15
think I
seconds
like
you're
it.
conscious, it wouldn't.
No, it would not be.
So, since we're talking about NASA and things like that, Rich, do you want to bring up your computing fact?
I would say which one, because I just realized now that most of mine are actually space.
That's okay.
All right, so as
final
we
frontier.
This is cool.
Yeah, well, I think that we've mentioned at least once before, but the fact that the original Apollo 11 mission, which is landed on the moon, the computing power they had was less than what is on our current cell phones. It just happens that the original computer they used, like Andy pointed out, the drive up here, though, granted it was very specialized, once they had, though, was running at clock speed up an amazing 1.024, megahertz, about 1/6 of the power of a TI-83 calculator. By comparison, while the phone currently in my hand, the Samsung Galaxy S3, not a plug,
Unless I want to buy you a new one.
yeah, thanks, has 32 gigs of storage built into it and a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor. So
This was the thing
NASA is smarter than us. Period.
NASA is smarter than us. I love going over this. I do this when I go into schools and we do science projects. I love going over this and showing them the different size capacities between showing them photos of computers that take up an entire room.
Well, show
and
the
then we-
ENIAC even. It's
Yeah.
it's a warehouse.
Yeah.
That does a calculator.
The mainframe
I have an
at the-
app that's more than that. Like, it's ridiculous.
The mainframe at the college I went to, we had a tour of it. It was the old style, really old type mainframes. Like for life, I can't remember what
with
type
tape and everything.
but it had a hard drive, and they showed it to us. And the motor that ran the hard drive was 10 horsepower.
Nice.
Because one of my friends there, he asked it. He's like, "How strong is that motor there?" Because it was a honking motor on the thing.
So it's a two-stroke.
Yeah, no, it was electric. But no. Speaking of the Apollo missions, the one that got to the moon, the flag, the iconic flag that they put on the moon, apparently when they blasted off, they knocked it over. Yeah, it fell over. Also, I guess the material it was made out of would have been broken down by now by radiation, and it probably doesn't exist anymore.
Really?
Yeah. The
thing
frame
is-
would probably be
is
there,
that
but the flag wouldn't.
The flags was like a last minute sort of a thing that they just bought at a hardware store on their way into work that day, and there's nothing special about the fabric. It's just regular
Like-
vinyl.
yeah.
So it's the radiation and the rays of the sun being unprotected with no atmosphere for so long. They say that right now, if we went back, the flags would be bleached white.
And didn't they actually have to put something in it to hold it up? Because
Yeah, there's
Yes.
like wire around
Yeah.
the edge
Just
of it.
drape, yeah.
Because there's no wind,
Yeah.
there's no
Exactly.
atmosphere, and actually, this is something that the conspiracy theorists point to.
yeah.
Yeah.
As because the way the flag is out or something like that, and when they
Yeah.
move it, it kind of it waves
It flutters
around.
because they opened the studio door and wind came in.
No, it's
That's what it
because they've
was.
moved it around, and
I don't care what you
momentum
say.
still exists in space.
They got
No.
you.
No, see, what happened was there's this extra astronaut that they don't talk about named Chuck, who accidentally opened his helmet, and it was a whoosh of the decompression that made it do
Poor
that.
Chuck.
He's still
Chuck
up there,
didn't make it.
bleached white.
He's the guy who had the camera that watched them as they left.
Yeah. And Chuck would have been fine because he can survive in the vacuum of space for
For a few seconds.
Actually, an
But
interesting
no,
fact
he
about
had to have a smoke.
the camera that followed the capsule as it departed was being controlled by ground control.
Oh,
the
I
guy
know
had
that.
a lever that went up and down, and what
That was-
he had to do is he had to gauge the amount of time the signal would take to propagate from the Earth to the Moon, and start the thing before they actually took off.
That's the story they came up to cover Chuck.
Yeah.
So there's not only the propagation outwards, but the propagation back. So when the guys were doing the countdown for blast off, let's say it took 10 seconds for the signal to propagate one direction. He had to wait at the 20-second mark. He had to put the lever up, because at the 20-second mark they were really at the 10-second mark on the moon. They were only hearing the 20-second on the Earth, so he knew it took 10 seconds. So then he would crank it, and he actually got it quite good. I think you could tell a little bit, like it's just a slight lag as it goes up.
Poor Chuck.
And he wasn't fired.
See, the reason
was
was
on
when
fire.
Chuck opened his helmet, he kind of mutated, and he can't survive.
Yes,
on Earth
mind-blowing
anymore.
facts, I think is the name of this podcast. Is there any more that we want to go into before we wrap up?
When the Mars Curiosity probe landed on Mars, when they filmed the whole event, and it was a great live event to watch. They said it was the 7 minutes of terror, because it would take 7 minutes for the probe to enter the atmosphere and land on the surface of Mars. The speed of light from Earth to Mars is about 7 minutes. So when we started watching the broadcast, it had either already landed or crashed. And
So
we didn't know, and we wouldn't find out until 7 minutes.
the fate was locked
Yep.
in.
Exactly.
7 minutes.
They talk about this with the sun. If the sun were to blow up at this very moment,
We
we
wouldn't
wouldn't
know for a
know
while.
for
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since you're talking about Curiosity, Opportunity just entered its 9th year of its 90-day mission.
Woohoo!
Which is another Mars rover. And Spirit is probably dead after going in circles.
Yes,
By the way, the date of this recording is the 17th of February 2013. It might be rerunning years from now. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got one. It's sort of a fact. I thought it was really kind of interesting, and there's a video that goes along with this that has an audio portion of it. There's a song that there was an Italian. Oops, I closed my thing here. There we go. An Italian songwriter. His name is Adriano Celentano.
Don't hurt yourself.
Celentano.
Celentano?
Yeah. He made a song that essentially sounds like English, but it's intentionally completely gibberish.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I think I heard this one.
And it's kind of like
It's like what English sounds like if you
you're foreign,
spoke
if
another
you don't speak
language.
Yeah. And I listened to it. It's actually a very catchy song.
It's somehow deeply disturbing. I don't know. It's just something that just doesn't sit right with it. I think it's because your brain's trying to figure it out, and
I
there's
don't know.
syllables that should be recognized but aren't.
If you've ever heard somebody speaking like Austrian or whatever, sometimes you swear they're speaking English.
Yeah, there's some languages are like that where you you think you should understand it, but you don't.
Yeah.
And I've got a link to the video actually that you can watch, and it actually has them performing this song.
We'll put it in
It'll be in the show notes.
In the show notes, yeah.
But we might be able to. I don't know if you can put a clip in it. Or,
if for the YouTube we can splice a clip in. Yeah.
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 But yeah, I thought it was really good, and he wrote it just kind of to highlight the whole theme of the song was the inability to communicate. And yeah, it starts off. The video starts off in fully Italian, and kind of like he's teaching a class. And this is probably from the 70s, I think. But yeah, and it actually charted, I guess, in Italy, or yeah, I think so.
So that reminds me of something. The company Kodak does not actually mean anything, but it can be pronounced as Kodak in every language and dialect.
Haagen-Dazs is the same way. Haagen-Dazs was a name created to sound like it was from somewhere European, but isn't.
Interesting. But can
Yes,
it be
I remember.
pronounced as Haagen-Dazs in like Japan?
It's an American company, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's an American company. It's essentially a name. Well, it's probably not as easy
Yeah.
to pronounce as Kodak, but it's essentially a name that makes it sound like it's like a European product, but it's not.
That's neat.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, today what we learned. I think that we
Nothing.
learned number one that's basically space is awesome.
We are a tiny little speck and we mean nothing.
Both on the scale of the universe and the scale of time.
Yes, we hope that the universe does not do its nails.
ever.
NASA is smarter than us, and Minecraft is bigger than us.
Yes.
And
Interesting.
satellites are watching you.
Yes.
Also, there's an awesome race.
Even though we don't matter.
All right, so we're going to wrap things up. Do we have any epic words from all that we've done today?
There's a really cool one that I found here, but there's no sightings. I don't know who said it. If I can
That's
get back
okay.
down to it.
We take epic words of wisdom on source.
Existence is weird. I mean, here we are. Isn't that odd?
Mind blown. Mind blown. All right, so
Hey, kids, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
we're going to finish it up here. You could always check us out on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Or you can go over to geekglue.com where you can find all the links where to go to listen to us, check out our episodes,
Check our
subscribe
sources.
to our RSS links, etc., etc., etc. See you next time. Subscribe to our RSS links, etc., etc., etc. See you next time.
I can hear the music.
I was just going to say, I can hear the music in my head.
We are programmed. It's kind of rising slowly. And now it went up, and now it's coming down, and now we're doing the bloopers.
We are, yeah.
Mike, who's
I'm
Mike?
recording on my mic.
Are you recording your mic?
Yes, I am. Actually, if you could do one of these, so I could sync the sound.
1, 2, 3.
No, I can't sync to that. I don't blame you for it. I'm just saying it's nobody else's fault.
There's no snare in my head.
Hey, is that good? There.
It's
Yeah,
because he's
you-
very far from his mic.
Yeah, you've got to get really close to it. Make love to your microphone.
Fine, how's this?
It might be
You
better
don't know
if you
who else
actually.
has done that. You screwed up my metronome.
Boom, boom.